Yeah. 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 Hello. It's Jared. Blah blah. I I'm speechless, honestly. As you can tell, a bit different camera setup. I tried something new, a lot more animated for this because there's gonna be a lot of it. Because I am at a loss for words. That is working. Sorry if I just blew out your eardrums. My apologies. I can't believe that that just happened. Um, if you're, I, okay. So Phillies got swept in Chicago. They went 0-6 against a Cubs team who is rebuilding. um, and you have your three aces on the mound in that series. You had Nola, Wheeler, and Ranger Suarez, and you got swept. And this is supposed to be a playoff team. This is supposed to be a playoff team. Oh, it's cute. I will say, I will give them the award for best actors. I'll give them the Oscar for best actors because they really had us going. They had us going for a moment that they were actually a good team and they actually figured out how to win in September. But lo and behold, no, it's just the same old for the past 5 years. And they're doing it again. And they're doing it again. Uh, I, what I, let's just get through this. This is going to suck. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm disappointed. This team genuinely felt different. And lo and behold, it was a wolf in sheep's clothing. It was the same thing as we've seen the past 5 years. I don't know what else to say. Let's go through the series and, talk about what remains. Because yes, there is a world where they still make it into the playoffs. That got messed up. Sorry. Ooh. Yes, there is still a world where they make it into the playoffs. They're not 100% done, but to me, they are. To me, this was the last straw. They've lost 10 out of 13. Like, how do you? I understand you were playing tough opponents last week. Really should have won some because if this happened and they won Sunday's game, yes, it would have sucked, but we'd still be up. We'd still be fine. Instead, we're on the outside looking in now when when they were up 4.5 games on Milwaukee, and now you're tied with them. 2 weeks ago, you were up 4.5 games, and now you're tied with them. I don't. And here's what else I don't understand. I don't understand why Rob Thompson is running the exact same lineup out there every day when they can't score for anything. They scored 3 runs in this series against a Cubs team who has 60 wins. What maybe, I don't know, Thompson. Here's an idea. Maybe change the lineup up. I don't know. Maybe sit Bryson Stott. How about you don't sit Nick Castellanos today because he's been your best and most consistent hitter in this series? How about you don't do that? How about you should have benched Bryson Stott for this entire series because he's hurting you. And yes, not having Edmundo Sosa right now sucks. But you have Nick Maton, you have Matt Vierling, who's shown he can play the infield. And if you want Matt Vierling in the infield, put him at second base and move Segura to short. Because Stott is hurting this team right now. I love Bryson Stott. Don't misunderstand me, but it's okay. Let's just get to it. We'll rant later after we go throughout all the games. Game 1, they lost 2-1. Zach Wheeler looked excellent. He just made one mistake. Looked really good. And offense did exactly what you'd expect this offense to do, which was get runners on and then strike out. I don't think in this entire series I've seen a team get runners on more often than the Phillies and do absolutely nothing with it when the heart of their lineup is coming up. I can't count how many times the Phillies had first and second or first and third, nobody out, and they got nothing or got one run. And it's their 3, 4, 5 because they're striking out. They're not putting balls in play. They're not putting pressure on these teams to make plays. So yeah, I putting one run across the board is baffling against this awful Cubs team. Awful awful, awful, awful Cubs team. And maybe, I don't know, maybe take Rhys Hoskins out of the 2-hole. Maybe have Kyle Schwarber down lower. Maybe put Gene Segura at the leadoff or Gene Segura at the second at the 2-hole. I don't know. You need to do something different because clearly the lineup you're throwing out there, the construction of it ain't working right now because they've scored 3 runs in 3 games against an awful Cubs team and with an awful rotation and an awful bullpen. So, and for some reason in game 1, Phillies are going and, they tied up on the Bryce Harper double, and that was great. But then instead of going with your most consistent reliever, instead of going with Jose Alvarado to shut down the Cubs after tying it, Rob Thompson instead went with Connor Brogdon. And for those of you who don't know, Connor Brogdon has a 7 ERA since August. A 7 ERA, and he went with him over Jose Alvarado. So how does that make sense? And please explain that to me. So to no one's shock, Brogdon gives up the run, and then the Phillies just nothing. They're just nothing, lifeless as always. Then you move on to game 2, and Aaron Nola went 6 innings. He gave up 4 runs. He looked good, but then, of course, the jinx happened when McCarthy said, he's cruising. Oh, he's doing great. And then he gives up 4 runs in an inning. And every single inning, the Phillies had a runner on and didn't do anything. You muster across 2 runs. You muster across 2 runs in a series where you're the favorite. You are supposed to be a playoff team. You are supposed to beat the hell out of these bad teams, and you just show up lifeless. Oh, and everybody after, we just got to do better. Then prove it. Do better. Instead, it's just going to be the same old crap every time. I'm so mad right now at this team that I don't think I've ever seen a team struggle with runners in scoring position more than this team has the past 2 weeks. I can't remember the last time a Phillies player got a clutch hit with a runner in scoring position. I can't. Yeah, maybe that one game against the Braves. That's the last. The one hit against the Braves, Rhys Hoskins. And then before then, I couldn't tell you. This team is a bunch of losers who just get down in the dumps in their own head, and they all try to do too much, and they all look for the next guy to do it. And lo and behold, that ain't working. You need to figure it out. And like I said, yes, there is a chance they still make the playoffs, but they don't deserve it. They've played pathetic in September to no one's shock, Oh, we're a different team. No, you're not. You're the same old team, and I don't know what the hell Dombrowski's going to do this offseason if, God forbid, they don't make the playoffs. I can't see Rhys Hoskins being on this team anymore. There's no need for him. You have Derek Hall, who's younger, has a lot more years of control, and arguably can be better than Rhys Hoskins or give you the same amount of production, but he's from the left side. And that's more valuable, in my opinion, is having a left-handed first baseman as compared to a right-handed first baseman. I shouldn't even say first baseman, a left-handed hitter over a right-handed hitter with pop. I feel like teams value left-handed power bats more, and Rhys Hoskins only has a year left. So do not be surprised if Rhys Hoskins is traded this offseason. Another guy, I honestly think he's the only player on the chopping block. And Dombrowski's known for making groundbreaking moves and clubhouse breaking moves, and I think this might be one of them with Rhys Hoskins on his way out. I honestly can't see him being on this team next year. I wouldn't be shocked if he is, but I also wouldn't be shocked if he's dealt somewhere. I can see a team like the Red Sox trading for him. I can see a team like the Brewers trading for him. Competitive teams that need, even a team like the Padres, I can see making a move for Hoskins because Josh Bell is up after this year and you don't have a first baseman. You traded Hosmer, you traded Luke Voigt, you're going to lose Bell. So look for Hoskins to be traded. I just think it's one of those things where he needs a culture shift, and I think he's the odd man out, in my opinion. Schwarber's locked up. Harper, obviously. Realmuto locked up. Bohm. If Bohm, you can put him at first if you want to do that. I mean, Marsh, you still got him. Gene Segura is also a guy that's probably going to leave, and Stott's the future, and Matt Vierling is going to be like, looking at this team the way it is. Rhys Hoskins, in my opinion, is the odd man out, especially with the emergence of Derek Hall and his production at the major league level. And Jesus, this season he had down in the minors, I'm shocked he isn't on this team. I'm shocked that he's not, and it just, yeah, I just think I don't know. And then today happened, and it was just the same old, just runners on, couldn't get him across, and just a bunch of losers like this. I I don't think I've ever seen a team. In all the September collapses, and because there's been so many of them, this is the worst one by far. Because for the first time, I think in the past, like in the competitive era of this new Phillies team, I think this was the closest they ever felt to actually being a really good team, a real team, teams that beat up on the bad teams, and a team that can take care of business against really challenging opponents. And I think we were all blindsided, for the longest time, we were all blindsided. The fact it's such an easy schedule. Oh, it's going to be so. No, it's just the same old over and over again. You go in that 9-game stretch against the Braves, Blue Jays, Braves. And, we asked for a split and whatever, and we got that and whatever. And then you show up so flat. And you could tell that loss on Sunday hurt them because they showed up so flat in this series, so uninspiring, just swinging at everything and not putting up competitive at bats and letting the bad team beat you 3 times in a row. You are supposed to be the aggressor here, and you got your ass handed to you this week, excuse me. You were completely embarrassed, and the entire baseball community is laughing at you because you were defying every logic in your right mind. You were defying every person who was saying, oh, the Phillies are bad, and oh, their pitching stinks. And then we finally start to come around. And what do? Prove everybody right. I look like an idiot because I've been telling everybody and their mother that this Phillies team is different, that this Phillies team is going to be the one to do it, make it to the playoffs. And I don't know. Who knows what happens if they make it to the playoffs? Who knows? Anything could happen. Look at the Nationals. They won the World Series. The Braves last year. Wild card team. You never know what happens in the postseason. So to write them off as the Eagles of last year, where they just made it and they were just happy to be there. But, who knows? But they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. If they make it, it's just going to be because the Brewers suck more than we do. And that's been the whole thing. Is there been so many times for you to be way out, for the Brewers to lose hope, but they kept pushing us because we took our foot off the gas for some reason. I don't understand why. Why in the hell would you take your foot off the gas? I don't understand it. And it felt like ever since Bryce came back, everybody took their foot off the gas because Bryce Harper was back, because your MVP was back. And yes, I get that he is he's one of the best players in baseball. And, having him in the lineup is going to help a lot, but not when your 1 through 8 hitters suck. Not when nobody else is showing up. Jesus, I feel like the only person who actually cares and is feeling this right now and has actually put in the effort is JT and Brandon Marsh. Those are the only guys I feel like I can count on to get a base hit in a big spot. And, you're paying Kyle Schwarber $20 million. You're paying Bryce Harper $25 million. You're paying JT $20 million. You're paying Castellanos $20 million. By the way, if you want to talk about a positive at all from this weekend, it's Nick Castellanos. Nick Castellanos hasn't seen live pitching, hasn't seen professional pitching since the beginning of August, and he came in here and looked great. He was 3 for 4 last night. He went 2 for 4 in game 1. He looked awesome at the plate. He was taking pitches. He was being patient at the plate. And he hasn't seen pitching in a month and a half. And you have a guy like Schwarber and Hoskins and, oh my God, Harper. Yes, he had a couple hits today and last night, but Jesus, Harper looks lost at the plate. And I'm shocked that Thompson didn't sit Harper. And I understand he needs the reps to get back into the swing of things. But Jesus, give the guy a day off and have ride the hot hand with Castellanos. I get you don't want him playing the field, but that's why you have Matt Vierling out there today. I mean, and the fact that, in last night's game, the decision to go to Nick Nelson, of all people, I don't get it. Bellotti is a little more forgiving. You trust Bellotti. I love Andrew Bellotti. I hope he's back next year. But to go to Nick Nelson, of all people, was a choice. Certainly was a choice. And then we get to today. And same old. Just first 2 runners on, 3 straight strikeouts. First 2 runners on, a ground ball, pop up, and a strikeout. I don't know. I don't know who's on the hot seat. I don't know what kind of fire that needs to be lit under them, but it's now or never. Obviously I hope they make it. I do, because again, there is a world where they make it. You could go to Washington and sweep them. That's a possibility, and then what are we talking about? Then you go to Houston, and that's going to be tough because Dusty Baker came out and said that he's not sitting their starters. So that's going to be tough. And who knows what Milwaukee does? They have an easy schedule from here on out, and I guarantee they beat the teams they should. So I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, we got a couple pots left. I don't know. I might. Let me know if you guys want me to do covering the games in the postseason. I'd love to, even though, it's not Phillies. I still want to cover baseball because I'm not only a Phillies fan, I'm a baseball fan. But I hope that Thompson lights a fire under them. Kevin Long lights a fire under them. One of their teammates throws a cooler. Like, that's the other thing. Nobody seems like they care that they're getting their ass beat. Nobody seems like they care. You show a little frustration from Aaron Nola. When Aaron Nola's mad, it's not good, because Aaron Nola might be the most mild-tempered person I've ever seen. Just, I don't even know. I don't know. Somebody show me that they care, because right now it's just, whatever. Oh, well. That's the attitude I'm getting from this team. Yeah, oh, well. We'll try next year. So I don't even know. I don't know. I still think it's not. It's a personnel issue. It's not a coaching issue, because this is 5 straight years, 3 straight managers. Gabe, Joe, and now Thompson. So it's a personnel matter. I don't know how do you address that if you're Dave Dombrowski. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I really thought this team was different, but clearly they're not. And where do we go from here? You go into Washington, and I don't know. You need to sweep. That's essentially what it comes down to. If you don't sweep the Nationals, it's really over, because right now you're right here in sinking water, and you just need to figure it out. You just need to. I don't even know. You need to sweep the Nationals in order to convince me and everybody else that you're serious about this. You need to sweep the Nationals. It's not, take 3 or 4, split. No, you need to sweep them. They are honestly the worst team in baseball. And you've handled them well this year. So figure it out. Win. You sweep. You need to. That's it. And the fact that you went 0-6 against the Cubs this year, you didn't win a single game against a Cubs team. That sucks. So take that ride home. We'll be back on Sunday. What the whole scheduling thing got screwed up. So I'm looking it up now, on my thing. So we got 2. So we got 2 games tomorrow, and then Saturday and Sunday. So I'll be back Sunday night. And who knows? But thank you guys for listening. I knew everybody knew that. And I might not have whatever this is, desperate times call for desperate measures. And, I'll do anything to watch this team win again. But thank you guys for listening, and I will see you guys in the next one.